Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're decoding the absolute avalanche of announcements that just dropped at Google I/O on May 19th, 2026. Look, if there's one massive takeaway from this year's event, it's that we are witnessing a monumental shift. We're officially leaving behind the era of passive chatbots, the ones that just spit out answers to our questions, and we're stepping right into the age of active, highly capable AI agents that are actually going to operate across our entire digital ecosystem. Okay, let's dive right into this. Are you actually ready for AI agents to take the reins? Because Google is rolling out something they're calling Gemini Intelligence. And you really have to think of this not just as a chatbot, but as a brand new omnipresent brain that's literally designed to act on your behalf. This intelligence is being woven directly into our software, the hardware we carry every day, and even the back-end developer tools used to build our favorite apps. It's a total top-to-bottom paradigm shift in how we think about computing. So to make sense of everything Google just threw at us, here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the age of AI agents. Second, the Android 17 updates. Third, we'll cover hardware evolutions. And finally, developer migration. Let's move to our first topic and see how this all builds. Section 1, the age of AI agents. Gemini Intelligence takes the wheel. We are fundamentally changing how we interact with our devices here. Instead of us clicking through 5 different apps to get a chore done, Gemini can now execute complex, multi-step tasks in the background on your behalf. To really wrap our heads around this, let's look at a real-world hypothetical they showed off. Imagine you see a physical poster for a tasting tour in Costa Rica. Step 1, you just show that poster to Gemini using your camera. Step 2, you casually tell it you want to do this with a group of 6. Gemini then takes that visual cue, bridges the gap, and natively navigates Expedia in the background to find matching flights and hotels for your entire group. The only thing left for you to do is step 3, manually confirming that final payment at checkout. It basically turns an hour of tedious planning into a single prompt. And talking to this AI? Well, it's getting an incredible upgrade with a feature called Rambler. If you've ever used speech-to-text, you know it can be, super clunky. Rambler is this advanced speech-to-text upgrade in Gemini that completely strips out your filler words. No more ums and uhs. Even better, it adopts on the fly. So if you're mid-sentence and you say, let's book it for Monday, actually, scratch that, make it Wednesday. Rambler just automatically updates the final text. It can even recognize multiple languages spoken at the exact same time. This could finally make voice messaging a frictionless, genuinely reliable way to communicate without constantly staring at a screen. Now, let's transition into how this new AI brain powers the software we use every single day. Section 2, Android 17 updates, the OS codenamed Cinnamon Bun. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these highly technical specs translate into tangible, everyday benefits for us. For instance, Predictive Back 2.0. That basically means much smoother swiping with consistent actual previews of where you're navigating. Then there's the native VVC support, meaning you can shoot incredibly high-res 8K video without it instantly eating up all your phone storage. Thank goodness. The Loudness Management API finally stops those annoying sudden volume jumps when you switch between apps. And that generational garbage collection update, that translates to a complete elimination of those tiny, annoying system microstutters. It's all about delivering a buttery smooth experience. Android is also finally tackling its long-standing widget problem, and they're doing it by offloading the entire creation process to AI. You no longer have to wait for an app developer to make the perfect widget for you. With Android 17, you can literally just type a text prompt into Gemini, something like, make me a countdown timer to my next marathon, and the AI will instantly generate a functional, custom widget right there. It is unprecedented customization, right on your home screen. But you know what happens when we spend a little too much time on our screens? Google is introducing Pause Point. We all know the universal trap of doom scrolling, right? Well, Pause Point is a brilliant anti-doom scrolling feature built right into the OS. When you open a famously distracting app, it intentionally scales back the UI, enforces a momentary breather, and even suggests intellectually stimulating alternatives like Google Playbooks. It's built on this psychological philosophy that adding just a little bit of friction to our digital habits can actively protect our focus. Android 17 is also absolutely packed with crucial security and quality of life upgrades. The bank impersonator defense actually listens in the background and can end suspicious scam calls mid-conversation. Live threat detection will prompt you to immediately uninstall an app if it starts acting maliciously. If your phone is stolen, the advanced Mark as Lost feature now requires your biometric authentication just to turn the device off. For creators, Screen Reactions lets you simultaneously record your screen and your selfie camera, perfectly cutting out your background. But the feature that might actually break the internet, Expanded Quick Share, now lets you share files directly with iPhones using a simple QR code. Yes, finally chipping away at that massive wall between Android and iOS users. So the crucial point here is looking at this accelerated timeline. Android 17 is dropping this summer. Naturally, the upcoming Pixel 10 and the Galaxy S26 will be the first to get it right out of the box. But this accelerated cycle means a lot of older flagships are getting left behind early. Devices like the Oppo Find XX Pro or the Honor Magic 5 Pro are not eligible for this update, which is definitely something you need to consider if you're someone who holds onto your devices for several years. Shifting gears a bit, let's look at the physical hardware that will carry this new AI. Section 3, Hardware Evolutions. New vessels for the Gemini brain. Now that we have this incredible new software, where does it live? Because software is really only as good as the hardware running it, and Google is creating entirely new vessels for the Gemini brain. The biggest reveal here revolves around the highly anticipated Android XR smart glasses. And let's be super clear right up front, these are definitely not a repeat of the original Google Glass. Google is offering two distinct models. Model 1, which is launching in 2026, actually has no display. It's essentially a wearable camera, microphone, and speaker system designed purely for seamless Gemini voice interaction, which is perfect for that Rambler feature we talked about earlier. Model 2, whose release date is still TBA, features a built-in display for visual AR overlays. Think real-time translated captions appearing next to the person speaking to you, or map directions painted directly onto the sidewalk in front of you. Alongside the wearables, we are also seeing the introduction of Google Books. These are the new Android-powered laptop successors to the traditional Chromebook, heavily featuring Gemini's capabilities on a desktop level. Furthermore, moving from productivity to personal wellness, Google is consolidating its health tracking. The old Fitbit app is transitioning into the Gemini-integrated Google Health app, and it's going to be powered by new hardware like the Fitbit Air, which is a completely displayless fitness tracker. The push here is clearly toward holistic AI-driven coaching that operates seamlessly in the background of your life. Let's move on to our final section, which is a big one. Section 4, Developer Migration, Building for the Agentic Era. Of course, none of this magical AI ecosystem works without the developers building the apps. So if you're a coder, this segment is explicitly for you. Google is completely revamping how developers will build for this new agentic era. The big news is the sunsetting of Firebase Studio as a development environment. But don't panic. Core backend services like Cloud Firestore, authentication, and app hosting are perfectly safe and will continue to function normally. The transition is strictly for the workspace itself. Based on the rollout, migration tools started this March. By June 2026, you won't be able to create new workspaces in Firebase Studio. And by March 2027, Firebase Studio will be permanently shut down. So you have a runway, but you really need to choose your migration path now. And this brilliantly illustrates the two very distinct paths Google is offering to replace it, depending entirely on your workflow. Path 1 is Google Anti-Gravity. This is for the code-first developers. It's a powerful local IDE designed for high-velocity, autonomous workflows. What's absolutely amazing is that it isn't locked to just Google's models. It supports Claude, GPT-OS, and of course Gemini. Path 2 is Google AI Studio. This is for rapid prototyping. It's an entirely browser-based environment designed to be the absolute fastest path from typing a text prompt to having a deployed, full-stack production app. You just have to decide if you need the granular, local control of anti-gravity or the sheer speed of AI Studio. If you are migrating an existing Firebase Studio app over to Google AI Studio and you want to keep your existing hosted URL, here is your rapid-fire walkthrough. Step 1. Head to your Firebase console and securely save your Gemini API key into the app hosting environment variables. Step 2. In Google AI Studio, sync your project to GitHub, but crucially, make absolutely sure you exclude your .env file so you don't expose your keys. Step 3. Connect that GitHub repository back to app hosting and hit deploy. It's a quick, seamless process that keeps your app live and your data totally secure during the transition. We've covered a massive amount of ground today, from Costa Rica travel agents living in our phones to smart glasses and code-generating IDEs. But I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. As these AI agents take the wheel across our software, our hardware, and even our code, what becomes of the human driver? Google I/O 2026 has shown us a near future where the friction of digital life is completely removed. But as the machines get better at doing, we are left to figure out what exactly we are supposed to be directing them to do. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.